Hello, I want to teach you on how to make a fairy in a jar, or whatever else you want it to be. Today's going to be actually a unicorn in a jar for a friend, and it's quite simple. What you're going to need is a flicker light or some light source, empty mason jar, some Mod Podge or glue, whatever you decide to use, a mixing bowl, a paintbrush or some kind of brush to apply the Mod Podge. I also already have 1 tablespoon of water that I like to have mine a little thin, some tissue paper, and I like to also add some glitter to the glue, so for girls, so they like that. This is the kind I like to use. It's extra fine, and if you add it to the glue, make sure it does not flake off after it dries, so it don't get everywhere. So I have a Cricut machine, and I've already pre-cut out the pieces that I'm going to add to this jar. Here on my mat. Best way to get paper off of a Cricut machine, I'm sure most knows. Turn it over and roll it. And I have a couple different spatulas. This is actually a paint palette spatula. I also have the Cricut one, but actually I prefer this one. It's a little thinner. Get your pieces off. That looks like one piece stuck in the paper here. That happens sometimes. All this is craft glue I put into a fine point bottle so it's easy to apply and more precise. It's actually Elmer's craft glue, bond glue, sorry. And to me, it's been the best I've ever been able to find because it dries very quickly and it holds very strong. Okay. I just like to bend this around a little bit so it makes it easier to go into the bottle. The jar, I mean. To me, this is the most difficult part of this, is getting this bottom piece in. Then apply the glue to the sides. Sometimes use your spatula in here to apply some pressure. I'm sure some are saying, why am I not hot gluing this in? I'm not a big fan of hot glue for glass application because I've had in the past hot glue will sometimes peel off very easily on glass, and after this is all complete and dry, you have this in here. If a kid gets a hold of it and shakes it, you don't want this to get knocked loose or off, and I feel like hot glue does that, so that's why I like craft glue. And it dries clear, so don't panic about all this smear you see on the side, you won't see it. Try to get as straight as possible, sometimes it's difficult. Especially these round bottoms like this, it's more difficult to do than the square ones. Okay. I always try to keep my utensils as clean as possible, so I like to wipe off anything I get on with some alcohol wipes. The rest of them are pretty easy to get in. So now you need to decide where you want to put your stuff. So I like to do it this way. You can do it any way you would like. And I always try to go from biggest pieces to smaller pieces. Sometimes it falls like that, that's okay. Pick it up and reposition. And you just keep pushing really hard. Get all smushed in there, the glue. And then it's repositional, because it's still kind of wet, which is what I like about this. And I try to straighten it up. And it looks like my grass down here is a little uneven still. Okay. And then put these trees in. You can put anything in with the item. It's just, I just use these for more added embellishments to the scene. I try to get them as down as far as I can. Push it up against the glass. Do the same for this one. Okay. Right now it looks ugly. Like I said, that will all clear up and you won't see all that. Plus we're going to have the tissue paper outside, so it hides a lot of it. Okay, and the little butterflies, what would you like? flop that on the wrong side. It's okay though. Once again. Okay. Now we will start mixing up our Mod Podge and water. For a single project like this, I said it's about a tablespoon of water, and I would say probably close to a tablespoon of Mod Podge is what I'll put in that. Mix it around real good. The reason why you want this a little thinner than what comes in the jar is so it'll soak through the paper and really bond the paper to the glass. Elmer's glue works just as like Mod Podge. The reason why I prefer this is this one is the gloss luster, and it actually creates almost like a glass look film over the the tissue paper, and I prefer that look. But it's all about personal preference. Play around with different glues, different sealers. You can use different sealers too for this. I guess I have to add a little bit of these again in there. The extra fine is the best because it's don't make it real clumpy. And I just add just a few little shakes. A little bit of this goes a long way. If you're not careful, you get it everywhere. And now I like to cut this paper down because you don't need it quite this wide, that little jar. So I'll cut right there. I like to start in the back, the mason jar, and paint it on. And keep moving it around. I'm gonna get it pretty wet, so keep twisting it. The wetter you can get it, the more it will cooperate with you. it up, trim some of this excess off. And you see there where it kind of ripped. Don't panic, that's fine. That can be fixed. Just fold this down. Get it very wet. When it ripped there, just re-wet it and smooth it out. If a piece rips off that you can't get it to smooth out, just rip off another piece. Apply it where the area is. And there you go. I like to roll the edges a little bit till it gets all the air out. Let it dry really well. And you should have a nice finished project in a couple hours once it's fully dry. I sometimes will put it in front of a fan right here on my desk. I already have one finished. This is what it should look like when it's dry. And like I said, you can add anything into it you like. Like I said, I did a unicorn because the person specifically requested that. I've done fairies and all other kinds of things. So, mermaids. Thanks for watching. Some twine around the top here. I'm going to get my twine. Get yourself a good start. Use more of the glue. Start on the lower edge. Hold it and just start wrapping. If it comes off, it's okay, just restart and try to keep push down there. About as far as you're going to go with is right off there. So just cut it. And then I'd go back here, this little point, and put some glue back behind it. And then if it comes out loose like that, just did, it's alright. Just go back a little bit and pull it tight again. Okay. What I like to do too is go back here, add some more. It'll fight you sometimes, but you'll get it. Okay. So I like the real fine point on this bottle because you can really get in there and be precise with your glue. And like I said, don't worry if you see some white because that will all dry very clear and you won't see it. Then I like to go in here in some spaces I feel like it's loose, and I'll get some back in the back. This will help hold it. You don't want it to come undone after you've given it to somebody as a gift, or selling it to somebody, however you want to do with your projects. Okay, let that dry. I turn this occasionally if you're going to have a fan on it. If you see this part that's bubbled up, it's fine. Just push it back down. And what else? When your project is done, as you can see, it's going to have a little bit of glimmer in it from the glitter. And you just put your little light down in there. Put this on. There you go. That's how you make a unicorn in a jar for this one. Or if you make anything, I've made trains in a jar, cars in a jar, fairies in a jar. So you can just let your imagination make up anything and cut it out with your Cricut or whatever device you have for cutting. And you have a good neat item for a gift for somebody. Thank you.